So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a pride test. You will. Number one, do you long for a lot of attention? Some of you do this by being really dramatic. You have the spiritual gift of freaking out. Some of you are always needy and clingy and desperate, and you've learned to look pathetic. Oh, is something wrong? Yes, there is. How can you tell? Well, the billboard sort of indicated. Some of you do this by being pushy or demanding attention or being big personality or vocal or what? Do you demand a lot of attention? And if people are talking but you're not the center of attention, do you make a way to get all the attention to you? Number two, do you become jealous or critical of people who succeed? Oh, I can't believe they didn't deserve that. That's not even fair. How in the world? Blog, Facebook, Twitter, so much of the world has gone totally negative. We just criticize people who succeed, and part of that is, quite frankly, just jealousy. It really is. It just is. Well, I could do better than them. Well, maybe you could, maybe you couldn't, but God's working on your character, and if you want to do something, start with humility, and we'll see what He has for you. Do you become jealous or critical of people who succeed? Number three, do you always have to win? Can't lose. I'm a winner. Some of you even cheat at board games. There's no pot of money. There's no trophy. There's no ESPN highlights for the backgammon or Monopoly move of the day. I just can't lose. I cannot lose. Well, I'm a winner. You know, oh, whatever. Number four, do you have a pattern of lying? Well, the room changed. The whole temperature of the room changed. That was interesting. Somebody say, no, I don't lie. Well, you just did. Okay. And see, underlying is pride, because lying is usually, you're going to know something about me that doesn't put me in a favorable light, and I want to be seen in a favorable light, so I will lie, even if it's a little thing, just so that I'm perceived as being someone I'm truly not. Underlying is pride. We lie to make ourselves look better, and we lie to make other people look worse so we can look better in comparison. It's all pride. Number five, do you have a hard time acknowledging you were wrong? You don't confess sin, you have to get caught. And even when you get caught, you put up a fight. You blame shift, get emotional, say, I don't like the way you showed me my sin. Change the subject to their tactic instead of your transgression. What? Tricky. Some of you can't say, I'm wrong. Some of you will say things like, nobody's perfect, which is basically saying, I'm a human being, which isn't really an apology. It's more of an excuse. You have a hard time acknowledging you were wrong. Number six, do you have a lot of conflicts with other people? There are a lot of conflicts between the proud and the proud. They're always going at it. Sometimes there's conflict between the proud and the humble. We see that with Jesus, right? He's humble, but he keeps having conflicts with religious people who are proud. But he humbly stands up to the bullies. Very rarely is there massive conflict between the humble and the humble. Right? Yeah, those humble people, they are killing each other, those humble people. So if you're involved in a lot of conflict, maybe you're the humble one, probably you're the proud one. Number seven, do you cut in line at the store, airport, on the freeway, etc.? Right? You're at the grocery store, it's a long line, they open another line, you're in, you cut, and everybody's giving you the stink eye. But see, you know that most people don't like conflict and they're not going to say anything. So you do one of two things. You stare at them like, I dare you to argue with me. Or you talk on the phone and pretend you're stupid and like you didn't know, right? Yeah, I'm at the store. Then they can't come up and say, hey, you cut in line, because then they would be rude. And what you're doing is you're being rude and making them feel that they can't be rude. Tricky. Tricky. Some of you drive on the shoulder of the road all the way up to the front of the line in traffic and cut in. Why? You're more important than everyone you just passed. Right? I'm very important. I have important places to go. I have significant things to do. You all can just wait. Or at the airport is amazing. The airport, if you don't believe in total depravity, go to the airport. It's amazing. You can be on a plane at the very back of the plane, right? The last row. You can't even see the front of the plane. Ding, everybody jumps out of their seat. And they're all fighting to get in line, to go nowhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're in line, getting off the plane, it's going to be a while. You can cut in front of one person, you know what that does? Nothing. Nothing. But it's just a way of saying, yes, there's hundreds of us, but at least I'm better than that one. I'm very important. Do you cut? Number 8, do you get upset when people do not honor your achievements? They didn't even say thank you. They didn't even send a card saying, hey, thanks. Nobody ever honors me. Nobody ever acknowledges it. Why do I even bother? Nobody even says good job. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. I'm supposed to wait for Jesus to say, well done, good and faithful servant, and that day's still coming. Number 9, do you tend more toward an attitude of entitlement or thankfulness? Hey, I deserve that. I've worked hard. I really made a sacrifice. This is what I have coming to me. Or thankfulness. You know what? I deserve hell. Everything else is a gift. Thanks, Lord. I'm grateful for whatever. Proud people, they feel like they deserve. They have this sense of entitlement. Humble people say, thanks, Lord. That you would give gifts to your enemies? That's great. Number 10. Do you honestly feel you are basically a good person and superior to others? Now, you wouldn't put this on your Facebook account, right? Tell us about yourself. Well, I'm better than everyone. But in your heart, there's sort of this smugness, this superiority. Thinking, you know what? Most people are pretty stupid and I'm pretty smart, and most people are not a real gift to the planet, and I'm superior to them. I'm basically better than most people. Okay, now we'll score this. Okay, we had 10 questions. You get 1 point for every question. If you scored 1 to 10, you're proud. If you scored 0, you are very proud. There's your score. What did you score, Pastor Mark? 27. That's what I scored. So what happens to those who are proud? What's the consequence? Well, Jesus says humility can lead to honor, just like pride leads to dishonor. He says this in Luke 14:11, for everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Jesus says you either start with humility and then God raises you up, or you start with pride and God knocks you down. So there's only 2 ways to live your life. And Jesus tells you this because he loves you. And he doesn't want you to pick a fight with him. And he doesn't want to have to knock you down a notch. He'd rather you be humble and him lift you up when you're ready for more leadership and influence and service to others. Jesus is good, he loves you, but he can't let arrogant, proud people using his name just run around taking advantage of people. Because see, proud people, boy, they make the worst spouse, they make the worst parent, They make the worst friend. They make the worst church member. Humble people, by the grace of God, they could be pretty good spouse, pretty good parent, pretty good friend, pretty good church member. Are you going to start high and end low, or are you going to start low and end high? Actually end with the resurrection of the dead and the ascension into the kingdom of God.